let me save you some time. If you came here looking for a guy to tell you that Central Arkansas is a hidden gem and now is a great time to buy, well, I'm not that guy. I mean, it is a great time to buy, and it is kind of a hidden gem, but you're gonna have to earn that conclusion on your own, because today we are getting into the 5 real changes happening across Little Rock and Central Arkansas right now. Changes that affect what homes are worth, where buyers want to live, what sellers need to understand, and why people relocating here from somewhere expensive are walking around our neighborhoods looking like they just found an old shiny $20 bill in an old jacket pocket. And here's the thing that most real estate content gets wrong. They treat Central Arkansas like it's one market, when in fact it is many markets, and it is not. Little Rock is different than Benton. Benton is different than Bryant. Bryant is different than Conway. Conway is different than Maumelle. And West Little Rock is a completely different animal than Hillcrest, The Heights. The list goes on to downtown North Little Rock. Treating them the same is like saying the weather was fine in Arkansas this spring. Sure. Also, 3 counties got hail damage, and 1 town had a tornado, but sure, fine. That is why local context matters. I'm Andrew Gresham with Keller Williams Realty in Little Rock, Arkansas, and welcome back to Andrew in Arkansas. This channel exists to tell you what is actually like to live in Central Arkansas. The real estate, the market, the neighborhoods, the lifestyle, the honest stuff that Zillow, Google Maps, and your cousin's Facebook opinion are not equipped to explain. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or just want to know what's happening in your backyard, subscribe, reach out, let's get into it. Starting off with number 1, Central Arkansas is becoming more lifestyle driven. And before you click away, yes, I know that sounds like a line from a brochure, but stick with me. Here's what I mean. People think they're buying a house. They're not. They're buying the life that comes with the house. They're buying the 12-minute commute. They're buying the coffee shop they can walk to on Saturday morning. They're buying being 20 minutes from dinner instead of 45. They're buying the trail behind your neighborhood, the grocery store that doesn't require any emotional commitment to visit, the feeling of a neighborhood that fits the way they actually live. The house is just the container. The life is the product. Your goals, your dreams matter. And in Central Arkansas, that is reshaping exactly where demand lives. Areas like SoMa, the East Village, Hillcrest, The Heights, Argenta, West Little Rock, and parts of North Little Rock are not just dots on a map. They are lifestyle decisions. Buyers in these areas aren't just buying bedrooms and square footage. They are buying a specific version of daily life. Some want the older home character and walkability of Hillcrest. Some want the established feel and convenience of the Heights. Some want newer construction, more space, and easier parking in West Little Rock. Some want the value and upside of Argenta or North Little Rock. And some, God bless them, bless their hearts, want 5 acres, 0 neighbors, and a riding mower. That is also Arkansas, and we respect it completely. None of these buyers are wrong. They just want different lives. As neighborhoods continue to improve, restaurants open, trails expand, small businesses take hold, public spaces get better, demand can shift fast. A block that felt overlooked 3 years ago can start to feel desirable because of what's happening around it. But here's the part I need you to hear. Not every area that gets talked about online is actually growing. Some areas are growing. Some areas are just trending on Instagram. There's a meaningful difference between those 2 things. And if you make 6-figure decision based on vibes and hashtag, that's going to be an expensive lesson. Now for the buyers, look beyond the house. Ask yourself, can I actually live my daily life here? Where's the grocery store? What does the drive feel like on a Tuesday at 7? What does the neighborhood feel like on a random Wednesday afternoon? Not just during a showing when everything looks perfect. And for sellers, the lifestyle around your home is part of your value. If your home is near restaurants, trails, hospitals, or a highly desirable neighborhood pocket, that story needs to be in your marketing. not buried at the bottom, front, and center. Because buyers are not just purchasing 4 walls and a roof. They're deciding where their life is going to happen. And if your marketing doesn't help them picture that life, you may be leaving money on the table. Let's talk about number 2, affordability. Now, Central Arkansas is still affordable compared to a lot of the country. Genuinely, impressively affordable. People moving here from California look at our prices and get that look. You know that look. It's equal parts relief and mild suspicion, like they're waiting for someone to tell them what the catch is. The good news, there is no catch. The catch is that you now live in Arkansas. Some people consider that a catch. I consider it a feature. Now here is the part that matters, and then a lot of content glosses over. Affordable compared to somewhere else is not the same as affordable for the people trying to buy here right now. Local buyers are feeling it. First-time home buyers are feeling it. Move-up buyers are feeling it. And sellers who want to sell and then buy something else also feeling it, because they quickly realize they are both a seller and a buyer. And the market does not give you a loyalty discount for being both at once, because it's not just about the list price anymore. It's about the monthly payment. And the monthly payment is a combination. We've got the purchase price, the interest rate, property taxes, homeowners insurance, which, as we'll cover in a few minutes, has gotten more interesting. HOA fees, if applicable, maintenance, utilities, repairs. The list goes on. A home can look affordable online and feel completely different once you run the real numbers. This is why the old advice of just find a house you love and figure it out is not a strategy. That's a feeling. And feelings don't negotiate repair costs. Today's buyers need actual strategy. You need to know what price range matches a payment you can comfortably live with, not just survive. You need to know where is the market your dollar goes the furthest. You need to understand where to compromise without compromising the things that actually matter to your daily life. Now, there is a hard line between being approved for a number and being happy living with that payment. The lender will approve you for a number. Your quality of life will have opinions about the number that the lender is not required to share. For sellers, affordability changes your buyer pool directly. If your home sits in a payment-sensitive price range, strategy matters enormously. A buyer can love a house and still not be able to make the math work. Love does not write the check. The payment does. And in a more balanced market, which is largely what we have right now, buyers are more cautious. They have more options. They ask more questions. They look harder at an inspection report. They notice deferred maintenance. They have the emotional bandwidth to walk away from a home if it isn't ready. The sellers who win right now are the ones who prepare before listing, not the ones who react after the fact. Because reacting, price reductions, surprise concessions, renegotiating with inspection, is almost always more expensive than just doing the work up front. The market does not care what your home was worth in 2021. The market cares what buyers can and will actually pay right now. Those are sometimes very different numbers, and the sooner a seller understands that, the better their outcome. Weather, insurance, and property conditions could be great, could be bad. I know, stay with me. I promise this one matters more than the headline suggests. Central Arkansas has weather. Real weather. Beautiful springs. Genuinely great falls, summers that will make you rethink your relationship with the outdoors, and then occasionally a storm system that rolls through and makes very personal decisions about your roof. We deal with hail, we deal with heavy rain, high winds, drainage issues, foundation movement, especially on clay-heavy soil, crawl space moisture, fallen trees, and flood zones in some areas. This is not to be alarming. This is just Arkansas. The trade-off for cheap land and nature at every corner is the sky occasionally has opinions. But here is what has changed. Insurance companies have opinions about all of this now. Loud ones, in writing. You know, a few years ago, a buyer might look at a 15-year-old roof and say, we'll deal with it eventually. Now, an insurance company might look at the same roof and say, you'll deal with it before we write this policy. Or they write the policy and the premium is high enough to materially change the payment calculation. Roof age matters more than it used to. Drainage patterns matter. Foundation movement, even minor, matters. Crawl space conditions matter. Tree canopy over the house matters. Electrical systems matter. Plumbing matters. Flood zone designations matter. For buyers, You cannot let the pretty countertops, fresh paint, distract you from the actual bones of the house. Pretty is great. I love pretty. Pretty sells homes. But pretty does not fix a drainage problem. Pretty does not stabilize a foundation. Pretty does not make an insurance company write you a favorable policy. When you're buying a home, you need to love it and understand it. That means taking inspections seriously. Getting insurance quotes before you're under contract, not after. Understanding what you're actually buying, not just what it looks like in the listing photos. Not every inspection finding is a deal breaker. Some issues are normal maintenance. Some are cosmetic, but some issues need to be taken seriously, negotiated carefully, and understood fully before you close. And for sellers, this is about preparation and honesty with yourself first. Before you list your home, look at it the way a buyer would. Home inspector, lender, or an insurance company are going to look at it. That does not mean you need to renovate the entire property. It does not mean spending money for the sake of spending money, but it means you should know what's there before the buyer finds it. Because once a buyer discovers a problem during inspection, the psychology of the transaction changes. Now they're serious. Now they're nervous. Now they're wondering what else exists that they can't see. Now they're asking for repairs or price reductions, or they're walking away entirely. A prepared seller controls the narrative. An unprepared seller ends up in damage control. And damage control, as a general rule, costs more than preparation. Commute and daily convenience are quietly running the show. So, change number 4 is commute and convenience, and how much they are quietly driving buyer decisions even when buyers didn't realize. Central Arkansas is not Dallas. It is not Atlanta. It is not Houston, where commuting is essentially a second job with worse benefits. You can get from one side of Little Rock to the other without packing snacks and queuing up 6-episode podcasts. That is legitimately one of the underrated advantages of living here. And people that move here from major metros discover it with a kind of joy that is almost uncomfortable to witness. Grown adults, tears in their eyes because they got to work in 18 minutes. Oh, but commute still matters. Daily convenience still shapes decisions. And here's the thing. Different buyers are solving completely different problems. A buyer looking in West Little Rock is prioritizing differently than a buyer looking in Benton or Bryant. A buyer in Conway is thinking about different things than a buyer in Maumelle. A buyer in Hillcrest or The Heights may want walkability and character. A buyer in Chenal may want newer construction and proximity to shopping. A buyer outside the city entirely may want land, privacy, the ability to drive a tractor without the HOA sending a strongly worded letter. All valid, completely different real estate decisions. The key is understanding how your actual daily life works and how you imagine it will work when you're excited about the house. For relocation buyers especially, test the area before you commit. Give me a call. Let's go find out what neighborhood suits you best. Drive to work during real traffic, not noon on Tuesday. Actual commute hours. Drive to the grocery store. Go get dinner somewhere nearby. Check the school route if it applies to you. Drive from the neighborhood to the 3 or 4 places you actually go every single week. Because 10 minutes on Google Maps can feel like 10 minutes. Or it can feel like 25, depending on the road, the traffic pattern, the school zone, and how many left turns across a highway are involved. And 25 minutes might be nothing to one person and a deal breaker to another. Neither of those people are wrong. They just have different tolerances, and only you know yours. Put in the comments what your needs are. For sellers, commute and convenience are part of your marketing value, and most listings do not communicate this well. Convenient location means nothing. Everyone says convenient location. That phrase has been beaten so thoroughly that it communicates exactly zero information at this point. What does convenient actually mean for you in your home? Say that instead. 10 minutes to Baptist Health Clinic, quick access to I-430, close to the restaurants and shopping in West Little Rock, easy drive to UAMS or downtown, minutes from Pinnacle Mountain trails, near the places people use every week. That is specific. That helps a buyer picture their life. Specific sells. Generic is wallpaper. And as we know, wallpaper is out. And here we are with number 5, relocation and remote work. This one is huge for Central Arkansas. And I don't think enough people are talking about it in the right way. More people than ever have figured out they do not have to live in an expensive city to have a great quality of life. If you can work remotely, full-time or hybrid, if you run a business from a laptop, If you travel occasionally for work, but don't need to be physically present in a high-cost metro every single day, then your whole calculus changes. You're no longer paying a local premium for a job that doesn't require a specific location. And when people run that comparison, what their money buys in California, Colorado, Illinois, Tennessee, Texas, versus what it buys here, Arkansas starts looking like a very serious option. More space, more privacy, shorter commutes, access to lakes, rivers, trails, a downtown that's growing, restaurants that are genuinely good, amazing hospitals, great schools in many areas, and communities that feel manageable instead of overwhelming. Is Central Arkansas perfect? No, nowhere is. And anyone who tells you a place is perfect is either selling something or hasn't been there long enough to understand it. But for a specific kind of buyer, someone who wants quality of life over brand name city, wants a reasonable cost of living without feeling like they moved to the middle of nowhere, this market makes a real argument. Now, here's the part that sellers specifically need to understand, and this is important. Your buyer may not be from across town anymore. Your buyer might be watching this video right now from Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, or Colorado, trying to figure out if Central Arkansas is the move before they even contact an agent. They are researching before they call anyone. They are watching YouTube. They are looking at neighborhood comparisons. They are checking school ratings, crime maps, commute times, airport access, cost of living breakdowns, and whether the lifestyle matches what they're trying to build. And what they need more than anything is context. They don't just need a listing. They need someone who can explain what the internet can't. The internet can show you a home. It cannot explain whether a neighborhood feels right at 7 p.m. on a weeknight. It cannot tell you why two homes 10 minutes apart have completely different long-term value projections. It cannot tell you what buyers are actually saying when they walk through homes. It cannot explain the difference between the neighborhood that's growing and a neighborhood that's just being talked about. This is the local expertise, and that is irreplaceable. For buyers coming out of state, you need more than a search portal. You need a plan. You need to know which areas match your lifestyle, your budget, your commute tolerance, and your long-term goals before you start touring homes. For sellers, if relocation buyers are part of your potential buyer pool, your marketing needs to reflect that. Better video, better neighborhood context, better listing descriptions that actually paint a picture, better photos, better online presence overall. Because a relocation buyer sitting in another state may decide whether to fly here and see your home based entirely on how well it presents online. If the marketing is weak, they never make the trip. That is a real buyer who never became your real offer. That's a cost. So those are the 5 changes I'm watching closely across Central Arkansas right now. 1, lifestyle districts continue to shape where demand is, and buyers are buying a life, not just a house. Affordability is a real conversation, and buyers and sellers both need strategy, not just enthusiasm. 3, weather, insurance, property conditions are now front and center in the transaction in a way they weren't a few years ago. 4, the commute and daily convenience are quietly driving decisions, good marketing names specifically. And 5, relocation and remote work are still rewriting where demands come from. And the buyers may be 3 states away right now doing their research. And here is the most important thing I can leave you with. None of these changes affect every neighborhood the same way. Whether it's Little Rock, North of Rock, Benton, Bryant, Conway, Maumelle, Sherwood, Cabot, they all move differently. Even inside Little Rock, 10 minutes can completely change the conversation. The headline might say one thing. Your specific neighborhood may be doing something entirely different. That gap between the headline and the micro market is where good decisions get made and where bad ones get expensive. If you're thinking about moving to Arkansas, or Central Arkansas specifically, reach out. I'll help you understand the areas that actually fit your life. Not just your budget, but your life and your goals. So you can make a decision you're still happy with 2 years from now. If you already own a home and you're curious what your home's worth in today's market, Let's have a conversation, not a estimate, not what your neighbor thinks because he watched a YouTube video about real estate. A real local look at what buyers are actually doing right now. Drop a comment below. Tell me which area you want me to cover next. Little Rock, Bryant, Benton, Conway, Maumelle, North Little Rock, Hillcrest, The Heights, Chenal, Argenta. Wherever you want me to dig in, just say the word. If this was useful, like the video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.